This is Karl talking management for the Globe Mail. Delighted today to talk to Suzanne deJanesz from IMD in Switzerland. Suzanne, you've been looking at mentoring, but in a very different context. Tell us about that.
Well, as you may know, Karl, mentoring has been around since the days of the Greeks. So Odysseus entrusted his son to the goddess Mentor, and she helped him and guided him and supported him when his dad wasn't around, fighting wars and grabbing land. And so the concept of an older, more experienced person taking a younger, less experienced person under his or her wing and showing them the ropes, this has been around for a long time. And organizations have taken hold of this as well. There have been a proliferation of mentoring programs inside organizations where women, people of color, members of underrepresented groups, high potentials are matched up with more senior people in the organization. And that has its pluses and minuses. But what I will say in general, without going through all the research, is that we know people who are mentored move more quickly through the ranks in the organization. They are more satisfied, and in general, they are more successful in their careers. And the mentors benefit as well. They are revitalized, they are thought of as people who have something to share, and it's nice to be asked. And the organizations benefit as well. There's a socialization piece that, whenever I ask my groups of students about, well, how many of you have read the employee manual from cover to cover? Of course, none. Right? So how you learn how the organization works beyond what the organization chart says, this is really where mentoring can be very helpful.
How do I find a mentor?
So one thing, Karl, that I'd like to clarify is that mentoring comes in two basic categories: formal and informal. So you and I might well be informal mentor-mentee to one another because we met at a conference, we exchanged business cards, we had lunch together, and we stay in touch via email and the occasional conference. So that kind of process is really, I don't even call it selection, I call it organic. Right? We come together, we have similar interests, similar values, we may have gone to the same school together. And so those relationships are not so much about selecting or having an HR person select for you. So in terms of I'm a mentee, otherwise known as protege, who should I pick? The answer to the question is, which people should you pick? Because one of the things we know is that one is good, more is better. The nature of our jobs today has become so complex, so changing, that even someone coming out of a 4-year degree program, for example, by the time he or she begins his work, half of what he's learned is already obsolete. So how do I deal with virtual employees? How do I deal with customers whose ethics in their country are different from mine? So we're hit all day long with the kinds of challenges that we couldn't possibly know. And even if you have the smartest mentor in the world in your back pocket, he doesn't know everything either. So more is better than fewer because of the kinds of challenges we have. And we don't necessarily spend 6 hours a month, for example, with one. It varies over time based on the challenges we have.